The feud between the Eubanks and Nick Blackwell and Team Blackwell rages on. This time, Mick Hennessy has thrown his 2 pence in. And the issue at the moment is this apparent goodwill gesture by the Eubanks, or Eubank Jr. specifically, offering to hand the British title belt to Nick Blackwell. Again, as a goodwill gesture. And this is apparently what he wanted to give Nick Blackwell while Nick Blackwell was in hospital. He asked Nick Blackwell through social media and apparently contacted his people several times, expressing his desire to come and visit Nick in hospital. And he had the intention of giving him this belt. I remember seeing the tweets. I remember him saying in the tweets, "I've got something for you, champ." And there were a few people in the comment section, leaving, I think, maybe inappropriate comments, looking for laughs, saying, "I hope it's not another uppercut that you've got for him," and stuff like that. We can laugh about it now because Nick's recovered. But, at the time, probably very inappropriate. Nick had woken up, obviously, from the coma, but, still things were a bit tense and a bit tender. Now, Mick Hennessy is of the belief that this gesture or this offer to give Nick Blackwell the British title belt is opportunism. That's the word that Mick Hennessy used. He said that it's not a genuine offer because Chris Eubank Jr. hasn't even won the British title belt outright. He hasn't made 3 defenses of it. And so it's not his to give away. It's just a publicity stunt. Well, here's my take on the situation. And again, I'm not an insider. I'm just an outsider looking in. But I've observed the Eubanks' behavior over the past couple years. And they like to do everything by the book, in most cases. And they are constantly, according to them anyway, and they've talked about it many times, constantly contacting the British Board of Boxing Control to ask for their permission to do this, that, and the other, including when they held that press conference. They said they called up the British Board of Boxing Control and asked for their blessing to hold that press conference while Nick Blackwell was still in a coma, and the British board said, okay, go and do it. So they're constantly consulting the British board. And I personally would be surprised if they haven't already consulted the board about this British title belt situation in terms of offering it to Blackwell as a goodwill gesture. I think they would have already spoken to the British board about it and asked for their blessing. And do you really think that if Chris Eubank Jr. gave Nick Blackwell the British title, do you think the British board would call Nick Blackwell up and ask for that title belt back? I don't think they would. I think the British Board of Boxing Control will see that as an opportunity for themselves to make themselves look good as well. I mean, they would look bad by requesting Nick Blackwell getting the belt back. I'm sure they would say, yeah, Nick, keep it. You were a warrior. You gave your heart and soul in every single fight you were in, particularly the Eubank Jr. fight. And we are going to, make you the honorary British champion for life or whatever. And you can keep the belt, the Lonsdale belt. So I think that's more likely, that's what would be more likely to happen. I don't think the British board are going to call it, we want the belt back. I don't see that, man, given the circumstances. So I think Eubank Jr. could give him the belt. Nick Blackwell could keep it. How you want to interpret that as opportunism, this, that, and the other. I just think at this point in time, no matter what the Eubanks do, they're not going to win in the eyes of, they're never going to be seen as good guys in the eyes of Mick Hennessy and Nick Blackwell and all these people. They can't win that fight. But as I said in my previous video about this situation, the venom that is coming from the Blackwell team is just playing right into the Eubanks' hands. And this is something that's surprising to me. Not the fact that it's playing into Eubanks' hands, but what I'm about to say. It's surprising to me seeing the amount of the public, all right, the amount of members of the public who are actually turning on Team Blackwell. Given what Nick Blackwell's been through and the fact that he was the victim in this situation, a lot of people are turning on him because of the venom that him and his team are spitting towards the Eubanks. And again, what did I tell you? The Eubanks use hatred to their advantage. When Nick Blackwell's coming out and saying he'd like to chin Eubank Sr. and all this, the Eubanks responded, right? Chris Eubank Sr. specifically responded by saying something like, I understand Nick Blackwell's angry. I just like to say he's a tremendous warrior. He fought so bravely and we've got nothing but respect for him. You see the way he turned it there? Him responding like that. Imagine how the majority of public are going to see that. They're going to see the Eubanks making all these goodwill gestures and behaving politely. They're not talking about chinning nobody or anything like that. And yet Team Blackwell was spewing out all this anger. And you can see that the public has started to side with the Eubanks now. They're turning that anger against Blackwell and his team. They're using the whole wrong tactics with the Eubanks. You can't deal with them like that. They're far too slick to have those type of tactics work against them. So, it is what it is. Anyway, people, let me know what you think about the whole situation. It's your boy Hatman. I'm out.